Well, you might have been surprised yesterday if you got an email from Campbell that said I would be the speaker today. Probably not as surprised as I was. Fortunately, oh, do I need that? Yes, thank you. Yeah, sorry, where was I? Yeah, fortunately I had a fair number of slides, so here they are. And today's the day that JJ's here, so this could be my big break, or not. So who the hell am I? Oh.
Well, that's one way to save time.
Well done.
Battery's in back to front.
Maybe it's not on.
Yeah, what's on?
Have we got anybody in the IT
Okay. All right. Well, this is going to be one of those presentations. I've seen a few here where people talk quite a bit about themselves, and normally that sounds like a bad thing, just talking about yourself. But I've found that they've been really, really engaging. And we could be doing this without the light show, I think. What about the mouse? Does that work?
Right, you just have to get out each side.
Yeah. Okay. An introduction to the money's work. So let's go, Cam. Press buttons. This is Tamworth. This is where I was. Well, they tell me that's where I was born. I don't remember, but it's certainly where I grew up. Next, this is another view. You can see my place.
It's working.
It's down here somewhere. Thank you. Is it which one? That one? Yes.
See?
Why am I going backwards? Okay. This is the post office. It's a big deal in Tamworth. One of my first jobs after school was cleaning the top floor of the post office. And that involved, one of the things I had to do was to wind that clock, which I thought was a really cool job because I didn't know how that was all done. But after a while the pressure got to me because I thought, what if I forget to wind it and no one in Tamworth knows what time it is? So when I after that, I went to Sydney, to the University of New South Wales, where I started studying law, got sick of that, finished studying accounting, and then moved back to Tamworth, where I worked for a couple of accounting firms for quite a while and didn't do that. But I did, because they were really old firms, and among their archives they had some old ledgers like that. So that's where I learned all about double entry and all that sort of thing. And this is what a philosopher said: double entry bookkeeping is one of the most elegant systems invented by mankind. I truly believe that. In fact, it was me that said it. And I also said it can be very satisfying to balance the books and very, very satisfying to review a clean, organised system. And you don't get many satisfactions in bookkeeping, but one of them is that. And so in Tamworth I qualified it and I became a chartered accountant. So I was sort of ready to go, and I had a marriage that was falling to pieces. So
As it does.
we moved to where are you, Tony? To Tassie, which it was a terrible career decision. It was a great place to live. It was a great place to live for 5 years, and then after the marriage finished, I came back to Queensland to the University of New South Wales to kick-start the career again, get an MBA. And I did that, and then more stuff happened, and I moved to the Gold Coast. Again, not a great career decision, but good life decision. I've got a timer here. Unfortunately, I forgot to press the button, so someone can when I need to finish up. Right, so this is why I came here. I met this person, and she had these three people already, and together we had this little person here. So, and then these three people had more little people, and this was the first, second, third, fourth. And this monster here is that little one that was in the previous, he's that one. So again, probably not the greatest career decision, but good life decision. So everything's rolling along merrily in my life until I just started a new job, and we all know what happened in 2020, which it's the year. It's also coincidentally approximately the number of people that were applying for every job that was advertised within the first 5 minutes. So I knew I wasn't going to get another job, so I thought, well, I better do something. So that's what I did. Lavelle Bookkeeping and Business Services. I'd like to say that I followed my passions and made my dream come true, but nobody dreams about having a bookkeeping business. So, but like I said, it's very satisfying. I do like the work. I do like helping people out. Like a lot of you, you do the work. The work's one thing, but helping people out is what really gives you the good feelings. So, why Lavelle Bookkeeping and Business Services? What I hope people would see when they saw the name of my business was bookkeeping and business services, because I can do other stuff besides bookkeeping. But what people see is bookkeeping and business services. So I just thought I'd maybe explain a little bit, because you've probably all got a pretty fair idea what bookkeeping is. So accounting is just a process, like a lot of things that we do. We have inputs, we make outputs. The inputs are the financial data that goes into the system. Then there's this process, and out comes information. Bit more complicated version. There will be a test after this. It's just my attempt to draw that process. So bookkeeping is the beginning. It's where all the information is captured, and it's a really important part of any business, because you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. So if this is a sow's ear, then you're never going to get your silk purse. You've got to get your bookkeeping right. As a business grows, they might have lots of different accounting roles, which is all of these. Don't pay too much attention to them, but that's where I've spent most of the last 30 odd years, in various of those roles. In a growing business, you might have an accountant. As it grows more, you might have a financial controller overseeing people who do some of this other stuff. As it grows bigger, you might end up with a CFO or a treasurer or a financial director or whatever. But what I see in small businesses is the bookkeeping end, where people are putting information into a system, and I see the accountant end, like what most people call, just when you say accountant, most people think of the person that does taxes. And so they're using an output from your system. So kind of what I really wanted to communicate was that there's a lot of other things. If people need budgets done, if they need, if they want to set financial goals and they need better understanding of their numbers, that's the sort of work that I really like to do. I've also found that reporting these days is absolutely fantastic. You can get some fantastic reports, but most people get fantastic looking reports, but the content is garbage. So that's kind of what I'm really interested in doing, as well as helping people to get non-garbage in their fantastic looking financial reports. I thought about not making this all about me, so I thought, what are some quick financial tips that I can give? And hopefully I can find with me, but it doesn't matter. The first one is how to save tax. Best thing you can do to save tax: keep good records, whether it's receipts, invoices, all that sort of stuff. And also things like logbooks, diaries, keep those. If you don't have them, you can't get deductions. So if you want to save tax, just keep good records. It's simple, Another really simple one is most of you are probably further along, but if anyone's starting a business, the first thing I would always tell them is get a separate bank account for your business, and then stick to it. Like, have 2 cards in your wallet, or one in your wallet and one somewhere else. Like, one's black and one's white, or one's red and one's blue. Like, make them different and then use them as they're supposed to be used. You will save money with your accounting bills. You'll save hassles. Life will be better. Final one, they had a couple more, but the final one, just do it. Get another bank account and put aside money for GST. If you have cash flow problems, that's the simplest way that you can ease the pain. Just get your GST account, put roughly 10% in there, and just do it consistently. And if you can't do that, you're in trouble, because you're not making enough money. So do that, and it's as well as being helping with your cash flow, it's a great barometer of how well things are going. And that's it. Have a nice day.